If your body feels like it's shutting down, if you're just tired, if you are lethargic, if you just have brain fog, if you know that it's stress related, but you don't know where to go from here, then keep listening. So, I'm a holistic health coach. We tend to talk about stress a lot, right? We tend to watch videos about stress relievers and what herbs we can take and what teas we can make and what tinctures we can have and what oils to rub and generally quick fixes. And you may have heard of ashwagandha. And ashwagandha is an adaptogen. So while it helps with stress, remember that you're still not tracing the root cause. And so as long as you take the thing that suppresses the symptom, I'm pretty sure it will work. But I've definitely heard of clients that stopped ashwagandha or ran out in the middle of the month and they had a total meltdown. And why is that so? Simply because you've been treating the symptom, not the cause. So, what I do with my clients is I literally trace the cause. And I do this using a phenomenal tool called iridology. And if you don't know what iridology is, it's simply the practice of taking a picture of your eye and using analytical tools by breaking the eye into quadrants when I'm analyzing and telling you about what's going on inside of your body based on the nerve fibers. And so you have fibers within the colored part of your eye, and within quadrants of the eye, nerves are running through your spinal nerve into your endocrine, and so it's related to every single organ in the body. This is how I'm able to see in terms of discolorations, patterns, changes in the colors, or there's several different types of patterns that we go through that are related to imbalances and related to stress factors related to as far back as childhood. And so when it comes to childhood, pretty much when you were younger, right? If there was any type of stress that affected your anxiety, that affected, I guess, the peace in your home, where there were disruptions, your nervous system feels it first. And before you can communicate how it makes you feel, your nervous system registers that you're in danger. And if the environment continues to be tense, then you grow up feeling that way. And most anxiety is locked in the digestive system. And this is why by the time you reach 20, by the time you reach your 20s or your 30s, this is when a lot of digestive disorders start taking place, because there was a disruption in your nervous system. And so this is why I'm saying, when you're tracing and when you're doing tracing work, you're tracing as far back as your childhood. And so when I sit with clients and listen, usually, yes, there's a box of tissues involved, but people heal. It's going beyond food. It's going beyond, okay, take this, buy ashwagandha from Discam. It's literally going into what triggered me, what caused it. And I promise you, from there, right, from where we trace it, people experience real healing because now they can navigate why they eat the way they do. Why do they stress eat? Why do they feel restricted around food? Why do they feel anxiety when it comes to food? Why do they feel unsafe? So it really is one of the things I love about iridology, because we're able to really go through, the triggers. And if you've been going to doctors and the doctors have been also scratching their head and going, we're not entirely sure where this is coming from. Listen, let's try getting you on this medication and stuff like that. If you've been on that journey, right, you must be pretty tired. You must be pretty tired of going about in circles and not getting answers and really just treating your symptom. And while you're treating your symptom, you're reacting to other things. Your digestion is getting worse. You have further stress factors. Now your system is shutting down. And this is honestly where I'm at with many new clients. So many new clients have reached out to me and said, you know what? I'm at a point where I actually don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to take. I've even had people in the past say, you know what, if you're going to tell me to take one more supplement, I'm going to lose my mind. Because that's where people are at. They're like, you know what, I'm stressed out. I can't eat certain things. I'm starting to react. I'm starting to have reactions. I'm starting to feel bloated. The acid reflux is getting out of hand. I'm feeling stressed out, but I'm also feeling numb. I want to isolate. I am feeling depressed. I don't know where it's coming from. A whole bunch of issues. But these things are fixable, and that's all I want you to remember, is that these things are fixable. Once again, it's about tracing the root cause of an issue. And you will be able to trace the root cause of the issue if you're working with somebody who specializes in that. And that's one of the key problems I'm finding that everybody has. You are working with people who don't specialize in fixing the problem. You are working with people who do guesswork. And the thing is, guesswork is not going to fix the problem. So you must know the root cause. You must know where it's coming from. There's different factors, right? It's not always childhood. Sometimes you had a great childhood, but you have an intense work environment. You have a toxic work environment. Maybe you have a toxic neighborhood. Maybe you have a toxic neighbor. Perhaps it's a family member that just moved in and is causing some anxiety in your home. Perhaps it is childhood. Perhaps it is an environment that you couldn't quite get out of, and you are constantly in an environment that is triggering you. And this is why I went on to go from holistic health coaching to also mental health coaching, because they go hand in hand. So much of what triggers you and your relationship with food goes back to how your environment was when you were younger, goes back to certain triggers, goes back to things that offset your nervous system, goes back to things that came as a shock to you. And remember, this could be death. This could be even COVID was quite hectic for everybody. This could be changing an environment. So this could have been immigrating. This could be maybe family dynamic changing, maybe having kids. Maybe it could be perhaps something happening in a religious organization. It could be a car accident. It could be that you had a theft. It could be a boss that gave you a terrible experience, and maybe you have trauma with working with a narcissist. So there's so many factors to take into consideration and then break it down from there. It's not just about pinpointing something and going, oh, that's where it's coming from. Okay, maybe I'll just take a walk and forget about it. There's work involved with fixing that issue, and that's what I help people do. It's about really going through what were the triggers, then going through how does it make you feel, how do you currently feel, where do we go from here, how do we navigate, how has these things that happened in the past or currently happening, how is it affecting you with your mental health, with your digestion, what is triggering you. When do you feel tense around food? When do you feel like you are not digesting food? The times in the day, when you eat, these things are important. So when I do a consult with clients, I'm asking questions that are normally not asked. So this is how I uncover what's happening. So that information that you're giving me is helping me to break down, okay, this is where we think that it could be coming from, and then we work our way through that. And even during the consult, you're going to find that even with you hearing your answers, it's like things start unraveling in your mind and you go, okay, I think something's happening here and this could be happening here, and you start putting it together like a puzzle piece. So I would really encourage you to get an iridology done. It's a health analysis and it's tracing work. I must stress that this is not new age. This is based on science and biology. So if you need an analysis done, I will link my email, I will link my number, and you can let me know if this is something that you need done. An iridology analysis can be done for anybody, anywhere in the world. So you don't have to be here in Durban, in South Africa. You could be anywhere, you could be abroad, and it can be done for you. So that's the great part about iridology. Let me know if you need my help. Bye, guys.